Roar! Roar! Way up in the Sierra Peaks, where the yellow pines grow tall, Sandy Bob and Buster Jiggs had a roundup camp one fall. They took their horses and their running irons and maybe a dog or two and swore they'd brand every long-eared dogie that came within their view. Yes, and many a long-eared dogie that didn't brush up by day had their long ears whittled and their old hide scorched in a most artistic way. Then one fine day, says Buster Jiggs as he throws his cigar down, "I'm tired of this cowography, and I allows that I'm going to town." So they saddles 'em up and they hits a lope, 'cause it ain't but a slide of a ride. And I'm telling you, friends, that in those days a cowboy could oil up his insides. They starts out at the Kentucky Bar at the head of Whiskey Row, and they wind up at the Depot House some 40 drinks below. Then they sets them up and they turn around and they went the other way. And I tell you the godforsaken truth, them boys got drunk that day. As they was riding back to their camp, packing a pretty good load, who should they meet but the devil himself, prancing down the road. And the devil said, "You cowboy skunks, you better hunt up your holes, 'cause I've come here from hell's rim rock to gather up your souls." Now, says Buster Jiggs, "We're in from town and we're feeling kind of tight, but you ain't gathering no cowboy souls unless there's some kind of fight." So he punched a hole in his old throw rope and he threw it straight and true and roped the devil right behind his horn, and he taken a dally too. Now Sandy Bob was a riata man with a gut line rolled up neat, and he built a loop and he threw it and lassoed the devil's feet. They stretched him out on the desert ground, and while their irons were getting hot, they bobbed and swallow-forked his ears, and then they branded him up a lot. They pruned him with a dehorning saw, then tied a knot in his tail for a joke, and left him a bellowing there, tied to a blackjack oak. So if you ever travel the Sierra Peaks and you hear an awful wail, it ain't nothing but the devil himself with those knots tied in his tail.